Yeah, good morning to all of you. If my voice is audible, yes. Is I'm audible? Yes. Is my voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday we are discussing something about time complexity. Yes or no? So what is the important thing about time complexity? So whenever you calculate the time complexity for any algorithm, we must consider which case, कौन सा केस हमेशा लेना
Worst
है?
case.
Worst case. Okay,
Okay.
we always consider worst case, which is nothing but Biko notation. Why we have to consider the worst case? Why we have to consider the worst case? Why we have to consider the worst case? Because
Because
when we,
after that, there is no possibility.
whenever you consider the worst case, that means it is the maximum time the algorithm will going to take for any input. ठीक है, किसी भी इनपुट के लिए वो उसका मैक्सिमम टाइम होगा. कल हम एग्जाम्पल देखे थे, अरे को सॉर्ट कर रहे थे जब इनपुट किसी भी किसी भी किसी भी उसमें रह सकता है, मतलब किसी भी फॉर्मेट में रह सकता है. ओके, so whenever the input, so there we seen a case where the inputs are in reverse order, so that is the worst case. मतलब उससे ज़्यादा टाइम कभी भी नहीं लेगा, इसलिए हमेशा जब भी हम लोग टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी कैलकुलेट करते हैं हम लोग हमेशा वर्स्ट केस लेते हैं. ठीक है, बट सम केसेस दे विल आस्क व्हाट इज द बेस्ट केस एंड व्हाट इज द एवरेज केस. ठीक है, लाइक इन केस ऑफ इंसर्शन सॉर्ट, okay, the average case, worst case, and the best case are different. But like other sorted, like bubble sort or selection sort or any other sort, the worst case and the best case are same. Okay, we will discuss. We will discuss as we see it now. Okay. Now to as we discuss to compute the time complexity, we have different methods. So today we are going to learn the first method, which is called your step count method. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Step count method. Okay. So what you mean by step count method? So whatever algorithm is given to you, so we will count the time taken for each step. Okay. हमें क्या करेंगे, जो भी algorithm दिया होगा हम लोग उसका टाइम कैलकुलेट करेंगे. किसका टाइम कैलकुलेट करेंगे? हर एक स्टेप का टाइम कैलकुलेट करेंगे. और जो भी स्टेप आपका एंटायर एल्गोरिथम में जो भी स्टेप सबसे ज्यादा टाइम लेगा वही आपका टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी होगा. क्लियर? तो व्हाट विल डू, वी काउंट द टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी ऑफ ईच स्टेप in my algorithm. Okay, then the step or the statement which is taking the longer amount of time or larger amount of time, that will be your time complexity, because that is the step which take the maximum time, और उस step को complete होने के अंदर बाकी आपका steps complete हो जाएगा. So yesterday we seen a simple example. So just remember all the assignment operator, all the iterations, and all the if conditions are taking how much time? Order of 1. While running the loops, number of times the loop will be run, that will run. Okay, that will give the examples. So explain with the example. We take one by one example and try to explain it. Now suppose a function is given. This is function. Suppose a function is ABC. Now there is a variable initialization, declaration of variable INTI. Now there is a for loop for I1 I is and I plus plus I printf statement. I, yeah, now this is the program or this is the function given. Now what you have to do, now I have to calculate the time complexity for this one. Okay. Now how many times this will be run, how much time it will take, since this is the initialization. Okay. And we already know initialization of the statement will take exactly order of 1. Fine. How many times this for loop will be done? How many times this for loop will be done? Now it's starting from
10
1.
times.
Okay, starting from the 1 से start हो रहा है, तब तक check करेंगे 1 2 3 4 and whenever I equal to n plus 1. Okay, whenever I equal to n plus 1, this condition will false. Fine. So whenever I equal to n plus 1, this condition is false. So how many times this for loop is checked? The for loop is checked for n plus 1 time. Is it clear why I have written n plus 1? Is it clear? Is it clear
Yes,
why I
sir.
have written? Because
Yes, sir.
now it will be checked for, it will be true for n, and whenever n equal to, I equal to n plus 1, the condition will be false. So how many times this will be checked? It is checked n plus 1 time. Now how many times this printf will be done? How many times the printf will be done? Printf कितने बार run होगा? n times or n plus 1 times? It will be
10 times.
n times.
Sir, and
Okay, because n plus 1 में false हो गया, it will run n times. Okay, that's what you now to calculate time complexity is very simple. Now time complexity will be either you can add all this or you can check which statement has taken the maximum amount of time. Okay, either you can add like order of 1 plus order of n plus 1 or order of n. Okay, or what you can take, you know that the statement which is taking maximum amount of time, that will be your time complexity. So what is the statement taking maximum time? So the first statement is taking maximum amount of time, which is nothing but order of n plus 1. Okay, order of n plus 1. And we know that while calculating the time complexity, we have to ignore the constant. So it will be order of n. So what is the time complexity for this function? What is the time complexity for this function? It will be nothing but order of n. Or why we are taking order of n or O of n? Because we have to always consider the worst case. Is it clear? Yes.
Yes, sir.
How we are calculating? Okay, fine. So let me do one more example. Why they are joining so late? Oh, very good. I plus plus what? G equal to 1, G is less than J plus plus. For that I'm having a printf statement. Yes. Data structure of the class. Yeah. So what will the time complexity for this one? What will be the time complexity for this function? Let me write function 1. This is function 1. Yeah. Yes. Anyone with the answer? Yes. Try. Now how many times this will be done?
One. Order of 1.
Order of 1. Fine. Very good. Now how many times this for loop will be done?
Order of n plus 1.
Yes. Very good. Order of n plus 1. And how many times this for loop will be done?
Order of n plus 1.
Of plus 1. Okay. And how many times this will be done?
Order of n.
Order of n. And what will the time complexity?
Order of n.
Okay, I have one answer. Any other answer apart from this? Any other answer? Anyone else? कोई और answer है? Yes. Why others are not
So I have,
responding? Yeah.
so, so I have a confusion that when should we take plus or when should we take multiply? In first question you have written order of 1 plus order of n plus 1 plus order
Yeah.
of n.
Yeah. Yes. So what is happening here for this one? Now I have to calculate total amount of time. Okay. So while calculating total amount of time, now this will take order of 1, this will take order of n plus 1, this will take order of n. We have to add everything. Okay. That's why reason I'm taking addition. Okay. I will explain when you have to take the multiplication. Or it's simple, the statement which is taking the maximum amount of time, that will be the time complexity. Okay, multiplication coverage now. Now let us see this example. Now it will not order n plus 1. Okay. What will happen here?
Yeah.
Now you can see. Now ये for loop जो है किसके अंदर है? It will be inside the this for loop. Yes or no? Yes or no? ये जो for loop है, ये क्या nested loop है? Agree? Is it nested loop? Is it a nested
Yes.
loop? Yes, this for loop, this is second for loop, this is my second for loop, which is inside the first for loop. ठीक है, अब मुझे बताओ जब I equal to 1 होगा ये कितने बार चलेगा? One time. Yes or no? When I equal to 2, how many times this will be run? 2 times. Agreed? है कि नहीं? Whenever I equal to 2, how many times this for loop will execute? How many times this for loop will execute? 2 times.
2 times.
When I equal to 3, how many times this will execute? How many times this will execute? 3 times.
3 times.
Sir, 3.
Yeah. Now, what will in general क्या होगा? Now it will be run. Now it is run for the n times for this for loop, है कि नहीं? And n plus 1 times for the second for loop. Yes or no? For n time किसके लिए चलेगा? N time for the this condition, है कि नहीं? And itself the second for loop कितने बार चलेगा? N plus 1 time. The total number of times this for loop will execute is n into n plus 1 time. Is it clear? Is it clear why I written n into n plus 1 time? Is it clear or not? For this n क्यों लिखे हम लोग? N for this one, है कि नहीं? n जो है आपके लिए इस for loop के लिए, इसके लिए कितने बार चलेगा? n times, है कि नहीं? लाइक printf लिखते थे हम, जब यहाँ पे printf लिखे, ये printf n बार क्यों चला? क्योंकि ये हम लोग का n plus 1 टाइम चल रहा है. फाइन. सिमिलरली ये जो एंटायर थिंग है वो कितने बार चलेगा? n टाइम्स. लेकिन एवरी टाइम वो क्या हो रहा है? एवरी टाइम वो क्या हो रहा है? इंक्रीमेंट हो रहा है. फॉर i equal to 1 it will be 1 time, for i equal to 2 it will be 2 times, for i equal to 3 3 times. So i equal to n it will be n plus 1 time. So that is reason it will be n into n plus 1 time. Clear? Now how many times the printf will be run? How many times the printf will be run? The printf will be run how many times? Now n times for the outer for loop and n times for the inner for loop. Okay, now what will time complexity here? Which is the maximum amount of time is taken? Now it is order of n into n plus 1. Okay, which is nothing but order of n square plus n. Now what is time complexity here? It is order of
n square.
here this thing why we return n into n plus 1, it is important because now this is a nested for loop. If it nested for loop, it will be run n times for this one, okay? N times for this one and n plus 1 time for j के लिए, j equal to I to n है ना, तो उसके लिए n plus 1 टाइम चलेगा. ओके, देखो मैं बता रहा हूँ फॉर i equal to 1, ठीक है, i equal to 1, j कितने बार चलेगा बताओ? j will start from 1 to n times, है कि नहीं? For I equal to 2, again j will start from 1 to n times. For I equal to 3, j will start from कब तक चलेगा? n times again, है कि नहीं? Now similarly कब ये condition false होगा? जब ये I equal to n plus 1 हो जाएगा, ठीक है? That means I equal to n तक चलेगा. Now j भी equal to कितना बार चलेगा? j will चलेगा आपका n plus 1 time, or every time sorry it will be n plus 1, n plus 1. We check the condition now, n plus 1. So total number of times it will run will be n into n plus 1 time. Clear? So
Yes, sir.
nested loop, ठीक है? तो वो हमेशा n into n plus 1 time चलेगा. Just note down, we will discuss the next question. Now suppose there is a 3 for loop, then what will happen? Suppose there is one more for loop, let me write here, ठीक है? यहाँ पर एक और for loop है. For z equal to 1, z is less than equal to 10, z plus plus. What is the time compression then? अगर एक और for loop है तो now there is 3 nested for loop. Then what will happen? Yes, Getting my question? This is first for loop, this is second for loop, there is one more third for loop, third nested for loop. Then this will be run how many times? It will be n into n plus 1. Yes or no? Yes or no? How many times this for loop will be done? How many times this for loop will be done? This will be n into n plus 1. Why n? For first n for this for loop, second n for this for loop, and that for final n plus 1 will be for this one. So what will be the order of that one? Then Tn will be order of what? n into
And
n plus 1. Which is nothing but highest power will be order of what? Order of.
and Q.
Thank you.
If you remember the matrix multiplication, अगर आपको फर्स्ट ईयर में याद है मैट्रिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन किए थे ना, मैट्रिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन मल्टीप्लाई टू मैट्रिक्स ए क्रॉस बी, ठीक है. अगर उसका प्रोग्राम आप देखोगे, नाउ ऑन दैट केस वी हैव यूज्ड द थ्री नेस्टेड फॉर लूप, तीन फॉर लूप यूज करते थे. तो व्हाट इज द टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी फॉर मैट्रिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन? क्या होगा टाइम कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी मैट्रिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन? इट विल बी ऑर्डर ऑफ व्हाट? एन क्यू. क्लियर? हम लोग जो सेकेंड ईयर में सी प्रोग्रामिंग जब पढ़ रहे थे, मैट्रिक्स मल्टीप्लिकेशन किए थे, प्रोग्राम था मल्टीप्लाई टू मैट्रिक्स. यस और नो? यस. All of you done the matrix multiplication programming? Not responding. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So how many for loops are we are used there? While multiplying matrix multiplication to matrix, how many for loops we are used? Three for loops. Okay, you can cross check that question. Three for loops are used. Okay. So whenever you are using three nested for loops, that means what will the maximum time it will take? It will take order of n cube. So the time complexity for the matrix multiplication of n cross s, it will be order of n cube. Just remember this one. This question is asked many of times. What is the time complexity for the matrix multiplication a cross b? This will be order of n cube. Okay. So just note down. We will go move to the next question. Okay, third question. Try to answer this one. Right. Function. Bracket. Slicing the variable. I equal to 1. Fine. So now I'm adding the for loop for I equal to 1. I square is less than equal to n. I plus plus. Fine. Now inside that we are having a printf. Let us write esc data structure. So this for loop, go this way. Yeah. So what will be the time complexity for this algorithm or this function? Yes, try this question. So let me read it. The function 3abc Start the function bracket, int I equal to 1, I initialize I equal to 1, there's a for loop. Okay, I equal to 1, the condition is still I square is less than equal to 1, I plus plus, then we are executing a statement, printf tsa. So how much time that will be going to take? How much time that will be going to take? Yes. Yes. How much time? Okay. How much time this statement is going to take? The first statement,
Order of 1.
order of 1. Good. Very good. Now, how much time this for loop going to execute? How many times the for loop going to execute?
N plus 1.
N plus 1. Okay, any other answer? Any other answer?
N plus 2.
Plus 2. Now check the condition here. Now I initially I equal to 1. Fine. Now I have to check the condition. What is the condition here? I square. Now I 1 is less than equal to n. Okay. Okay. Then I plus plus.
N minus 1.
Okay, let me write everything. N minus 1. Okay. Any other answer? चेक करो I इक्वल टू 1 कंडीशन क्या हो 1 इज लेस देन 1 व्हिच इज ट्रू कितने बार रन हुआ फॉर लूप एक बार रन हुआ नाउ I इक्वल टू 2 हुआ ठीक है नाउ I इंक्रीमेंट हो कितना हुआ I इक्वल टू 2 हुआ नाउ I स्क्वायर विल बी 4 नाउ 4 is less than n ओके नाउ ना कितने बार रन हुआ सेकंड टाइम कितना हुआ 4 के लिए रन हुआ ठीक है नाउ नेक्स्ट टाइम I क्या होगा आपका 9 नाउ नेक्स्ट टाइम I क्या हो जाएगा 16 now next time क्या होगा 25 now iteration कैसे हो देखो now it is not like 1 2 it is not like 1 2 3 4 4 4 5 continuous अगर continuous होता तो हम लोग लिखते n plus 1 यहाँ पर क्या था यहाँ पर continuous था आपका I equal to 1 then I equal to 2 then I equal to 3 condition है कि नहीं लेकिन अब I क्या हो जाएगा आपका पहली बार में I equal to 1 था दूसरी बार में क्या हो गया 4 हो गया उसके बाद क्या हो गया 9 उसके बाद क्या हो रहा है 60 then how many time exactly is run how many time exactly this for loop run how many time exactly this for loop will be done yes in terms of n अगर लिखेंगे तो क्या होगा it will be root n okay okay it will be run exactly root n time okay root over n time now how many times this printf will be done how many times this printf will be done it will
Root
be
n minus
exactly
1.
root n minus 1 fine so what is the time complexity but the time complexity which is the maximum time taken by the statement now this is the maximum time taken by the statement so what is time complexity it will be order of root n clear is it clear why we taken root n or simply you can write in now
Yes, sir.
I square equal
Yes,
to
sir.
n and n equal to n then I you have to always find in terms of I so I will be something less than equal to root n clear okay note down so we will discuss next example so you have to analyze okay how many times actually the statement is executing okay this is important you have to identify how many times the statement is executing okay so let me discuss one more example एडिशन जब हम बोल रहे हैं प्रोग्राम लिखते हैं साथ में लिखो, ठीक है? क्योंकि वहाँ लिखने में थोड़ा इश्यू आ रहा है, तो हम बोल बोल के लिखते हैं, सो दैट आप लोग लिख सकते हो. So I'm initializing the variable id I, j, k and n. Okay, now I'm declaring, I'm taking a condition. I'm using a for loop for I equal to 1, I is less than equal to n, I plus. Okay, now I'm starting the bracket of for loop. Now I'm defining one more for loop for j equal to 1. J is less than equal to I. I plus right for then I printf close the inner for loop, close the second for loop, close the first for loop, and close the fine. Now, can anyone tell me what will be the type complexity for this program? Or just slight changes? So make it n. Make it this one also n. This is also n. Yeah, what is the type complexity? Just I have discussed earlier. Yeah, this will be order of 1. Fine. How much time this will going to take?
Order of n.
N plus 1. Okay, n plus 1.
N plus 1.
How much time this will going to take? Order of
N plus 1.
n into n plus 1, because it's nested for loop. It's nested for loop, no? For n times for the output for loop and n plus 1 for the this for loop, second for loop. How many times this will be done? It will be order of
N in
n into
N
n plus.
1.
Good. How many times this will be done? It will be done n into n times. Then what is the time complexity? It will be order of, which is the highest function? n into n plus 1. Okay. The maximum power will be n cube. So we will ignore all this thing because we have to take the higher function. So it will be order of n cube. ठीक है, जो कि हम लोग ऑलरेडी डिस्कस किए. ठीक है, now let me slightly change this one. ठीक है, अब इसको अभी ऑब्जर्व करना, मैं थोड़ा सा प्रोग्राम में भी चेंज करूंगा, फिर आपको आंसर देना है. ठीक है, अब हम क्या करेंगे, इसको चेंज करेंगे और इसको चेंज करेंगे. Now j is less than equal to I. Okay, and k is less than equal to 100. Fine. Now there is no n. Now this first loop will be done n times. The second loop will depend upon the value of I. The termination of second loop is completely depend upon the value of I. Now k is independent of both of them. How many times it will run? It will run only 100 times. 100. Clear? The first loop depend upon n. The second loop termination condition depend upon I. Okay. The third is depend upon n and I. It will run only 100 times. Now tell me what will be the time complexity for this program. Is it n cube or something different? Getting my point? Question समझ में आया? प्रीवियस केस में जब सब में कंडीशन n था तो हम लोग को क्या आया था वहां पर n क्यूब आया था, ठीक है। लेकिन अभी क्या है,
Sir, 100 Ni.
ओके आई हैव वन आंसर 100
Ni.
and I.
Yes, sir.
Okay. First thing, there will be no constant while calculating the time complexity. ठीक है, पहला thing आपको मैंने बताया था, constant कभी भी नहीं रहेगा. Second thing, it will be always in terms of n रहेगा. It will be not in terms of I. What is n? N is a size. ठीक है, n क्या वहाँ पर size ले रहे हम लोग, size of the input number. Okay. So it will be always in terms of n. So you have to answer in terms of n. Clear? You have to answer in terms
Yes, sir.
of n. n में answer करना है. चलो बताओ क्या होगा आंसर.
So order of n.
Order of n. Why order of n? Can you explain me?
Yes, sir. So because first for loop will run n times.
Okay, it will run order of n plus 1 n. Fine. Okay, then
So n one, yes, so n plus 1 times. Second will run n times cause j should be less than is equals to I. So when j is equals to n, I is equals to n,
yeah,
then j
because
should also be n.
yeah, agreed, because j's condition of j is depend upon I whenever first for loop will be terminated, second for loop also will be terminated. So it will be also exactly that n plus 1 n. Fine, good. Next, this inner for loop
So next it will be 100 times.
100 times. Sure, 100 times.
So yes, because there is no condition for n in this.
Okay, fine. Then so you're saying this will be done 100 times. So what about this printf statement? What about this printf statement? How many times?
It will run 100 into n plus 1.
Okay. And which is
Yes.
the maximum? Which statement has taken the maximum amount of time? So you are saying this statement is taken maximum amount of time, which is 100 into n plus 1. So as the highest function is n, so you are saying it is order of n. Okay, any other answer apart from that? Any other answer? So we are having less than 1 minute. Okay, one more answer after take and Q. Okay, so I'm giving the option. Okay, just we are left with 1 minute. So I'm giving some option. Try. Okay, next class I will discuss. So I'm giving option. Either it will be order of n or order of n square or